The Harvey Company is a great story because Fred Harvey started this small chain of restaurants that became a huge chain of restaurants and hotels along the Santa Fe Railroad in the 1870s. Originally it was just a few small restaurants, trackside restaurants in Kansas. It eventually grew to extend from Chicago all the way to Los Angeles and San Francisco, 80 different locations, and it was the largest hospitality industry in the world, and the first national chain of anything. And so it existed from the 1870s through the 1960s and early 70s when Amtrak came. So it's a company that people in the Southwest know because the Harvey Company and his waitresses, the Harvey girls, very much civilized many of the Western towns. They married in those towns. They were the bedrock of a lot of those towns. In big cities like St. Louis, they were known because the Union stations were completely Fred Harvey stations. So the station we're in here was the first major Union station in the country. And starting in the 1890s, the Fred Harvey Company did everything here. So besides tickets, which were taken care of by the railroad, Fred Harvey Company ran all the restaurants in this building, of which there were several, including takeout food. They ran all the retail stores, and there were clothing stores, there were drug stores, there were candy stores, toy stores. And so the Harvey Company had a huge retail business as well. They also were in the Native American art business because they were in the Southwest. So they actually brought Native American art and crafts to all these different cities. There was a Native American art store in this building, as there was in Chicago Union Station and in Kansas City Union Station. And when, especially during the period in the early 1900s when people were really into buying Native American stuff, most of them bought it from the Fred Harvey Company. So it was a very interesting company, very responsible company, fascinating company that always wanted to have perfect service. I mean, today sometimes we think of chains as places that lower service. The Fred Harvey Company generally was better than anything else that people could have in the towns that they lived in. And working for the Fred Harvey Company, especially for women, because this was a company that hired over 100,000 single women to be Harvey girls from the 1880s through the 1940s. After the 1940s, they started hiring local people, but during the early time period, they trained everybody in the Midwest and then sent them to the different locations so they would have the best service possible in those restaurants. So it's quite a cultural phenomenon and a story that, again, a lot of people don't know, but when they hear it, as I did the first time, they're like, why didn't I know this? I mean, how is it possible that this all happened and like no one told me in school, or I didn't hear it, didn't see a movie about it or something? And then when they hear about it, they start connecting the dots, especially if they travel in the West.